This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We are live in St. Paul in front of the governor's mansion, governor's residence. Stop line 3 action right now.
So just a reminder, before we start the march, make sure you stay behind the dancers and behind the banners. Say it with me. Behind the dancers. Behind the banners. Thank you, please. This is just for your safety, and obviously, you guys want to see the dancers, right? They're doing an amazing job. Can we give them a hand? We can't take all.
Thank you all for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We got Wichita on the camera. We're here live in St. Paul at a stop line 3. One second. We're here at Stop Line 3 action in St. Paul. Just actually moving down Summit Avenue at the moment. We are right next to the governor's residence, which is right here, and about maybe 100 or so folks have come out here to prompt Governor Walz, to ask for Governor Walz, to demand that Governor Walz stop the construction on the Line 3 pipeline. And so right behind the camera we have the assessment of people just flowing this way now, and this march is now going to be headed towards the U.S. Bank. From what we understand, U.S. Bank is one of the funders of a lot of fossil fuel pipeline projects and extraction projects, and also Line 3. And so again, you hear the chant now, stop Line 3. Line 3 is getting close to construction, being finished in Minnesota. It's one of the biggest fossil fuel infrastructure projects in the North American history. A lot of people are saying that it's going right through treaty land. It's going to disrupt the flow of wild rice. It's going to hurt water and the grounds around it if the pipeline stays, and if not only if, but when the pipeline cracks and starts to break at certain spots. There's also been some pipeline breakage already. They've also broke into the aquifer down underneath while they were doing fracking. It's been a lot of bad things that Enbridge has already done, and Enbridge is also the purveyors of the worst inland oil spill in American history, and that was in 1991 in Minnesota as well. And so Enbridge is a Canadian corporation with ties to a lot of these pipelines that we see around the Midwest, and a lot of different lines that we see around the Midwest. And they've created those for maybe 40, 50 years. Line 3 is a newly constructed replacement pipeline that'll be going through Canada, from Alberta, Canada, through North Dakota, Minnesota, and into Superior, Wisconsin, where Enbridge has their station, and therefore then from Enbridge it gets shipped down to the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of the oil flows out of America and into overseas countries, oil stashes for other countries to use. So a lot of people are also questioning that, like, why would people want to continue to support a pipeline that wouldn't even have the oil go to the specific people that are actually impacted and affected by the construction of that pipeline? So we're going to talk to some folks here today about what they think about the Line 3 project and the resistance to it. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of arrests up north Minnesota, where water protectors are continuing their resistance against the construction and continuing to put themselves in front of construction, lock themselves down to construction, as well as face serious charges, and now face jail time and felony charges, as I was saying. So we're gonna allow this march to continue. We're gonna talk to some folks in a little bit. This march is gonna go down into parts of St. Paul that'll lead to the U.S. Bank. A lot of the signs: system change, not climate change, no new pipelines, climate justice now. We are here to protect the water, stop Line 3. Water is life, stop Line 3. Very young crowd out here. You destroy water, you destroy life. Hate pollution, love humanity, stop Line 3. Tell Biden, stop Line 3, oil pipeline. Consistent messaging here. Water is life. Land back. Tell Biden to stop Line 3. This march started outside of the governor's residence here in St. Paul, Minnesota, and is now headed into parts of St. Paul. So I think is there also a Wham vigil outside the?
At 5.
So every Tuesday? Every Monday, excuse me. Every Monday there's also been Wham Women Against Military Madness rallies. Would you want to talk about it at all?
No, but I know people that you could get to talk about.
Okay, yeah. We'll talk to them in a little bit. Yeah.
You want me to grab them?
Yeah, let's grab some. We're going to talk to some of the Women Against Military Madness. We'll talk to some other folks as well, but we'll talk to these folks because what they've been doing is every Mondays they've been doing a vigil outside of the governor's residence, and some of the participants will also do a vigil today. And so today's rally, this march actually stops at 5, and then from there's going to be a vigil where some of the Women Against Military Madness activists will be holding a vigil outside of the governor's residence to ask for Governor Walz to stop the construction of Line 3. Would any of you all be interested?
We're all on the board, but Lucia has been calling us out with emails, so talk to her. She's got the Wham t-shirt.
Yeah, perfect. Should we have the camera go this way so you can walk this way? Sure, can you come on this side? Yeah. So we're just gonna have the camera come on this side, so then we can talk where you don't have to go backwards. You can say your name if you want to. You don't have to, but so we know that. All right. We know that there's been vigils every Monday.
Yeah.
Outside the governor's residence. Can you talk about that?
Yes. The WHAM board, after hearing some reports from Line 3, some of our board members had been able to get up to Line 3 and protest and stand in support of the water protectors. And we just arbitrarily, spontaneously called for a rally. It was, and 2 days later, 50 people arrived outside the governor's mansion, and we had a rally, and people spoke, and we chanted. And after that, we decided to continue a vigil so that people who could not get to Line 3 for one reason or another would be able to stand up in solidarity and stop Line 3. We found a little intercom, and so we've been calling the staff of the governor's mansion and asking them, I just asked them to come out and take pictures of this wonderful dancing that the Indigenous youth have gotten to come out and dance in the streets. And we're proud to join this rally today.
You can keep talking.
That's okay.
Okay,
That's
sweet.
what I wanna say.
Okay, thank you. What is the importance of coming out here, though? Like, what would make you want to come out here during your time to call for Governor Walz to stop Line 3?
Sometimes you just have to stand up and stand with people who are on site. There is a group of Indigenous people, water protectors, who started walking, I believe, on August 5th, coming all the way to the Minnesota State Capitol. I believe they'll arrive on the 25th, and they will occupy some area at that point. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Anything else you'd want to say? I know we're sort of keeping this back a little bit.
Oh, those are some of our cars, I think.
Okay, yeah.
But no, some of our other WHAM people are here, Women Against Military Madness. And you know, the military is the #1 environmental polluter in the entire world. So it is part of our business to stop Line 3.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for drawing that intersection between the two as well.
We make connections.
Yeah.
We make all the connections.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thank you. So as you heard from an elder from Women Against Military Madness, actually drawing the connection to, from the earth, to the pollution that the military puts out, as well as the destruction that Line 3 construction could do. How are you all? We got residents outside. We're holding their fists up. So the speaker just said that there is Chase Bank coming up, and that they are also one of the bigger funders of the pipeline project, and that they were going to start a chant called Chase Them Out, and that's where this chant is right now. There's drummers already set up at Chase Bank. See that really vividly done art picture, Defend the Sacred. A lot of stop line 3 and land back signs. System change, not climate change. The people are now on Grand Avenue and Ford Street. Circling around for dancers. And we're here live in St. Paul. Akita on the camera, Nico on the mic. Thank you, Chris, for running the back end. As we were talking about some of the destruction that Enbridge has already caused in their construction of the Line 3 pipeline, there's already been 9, I repeat, there's been 9 accidental releases of drilling mud from Enbridge's horizontal directional drilling. Several of the incidents happened at the headwaters of the Mississippi, which is one of the largest rivers in the world. And goes to the drinking water of many millions of people. Within that, the State House of Representatives and Senators, they authored a letter to the Pollution Control Agency of Minnesota, and they call for transparency around the spills. Enbridge is being pretty mum's the word on their spills.
They are funding, out of breath from dancing. They are funding $1.8 billion into Line 3. Let me repeat that. They are funding $1.8 billion into Line 3. Blue Chase! They are saying that money and they are saying that profit is more important than the well-being of people and Mother Earth. And that is not okay. No, it isn't. So if you have an account open with Chase, go to a credit union. Go to a local credit union. Fuck Chase. Fuck Chase. Fuck Chase and fuck Jamie Dimon, who is the CEO of Chase Banks. You know, we can say, oh, defund this bank, but at the end of the day, we really need to target the people in charge, and the people in charge of Chase Banks is Jamie Dimon. I have his number right here, so get out your phones and write this number down. Write this number down. This is Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase Bank. It's 212-270-1111. Blow up his phone. Tell Chase, tell Jamie Dimon to defund Line 3, to invest in our future, to invest in the future generations. We will no longer stand. We will no longer stand for our water to be polluted, for our earth to be polluted. That's why we're here today. We're here today because the time is now. This is the only planet we have. This is the only water we have. We need to fight now. The time is now. So tell your friends, get out of your house. Defund Chase Banks, defund Line 3, and we need to rally. We need to rally. If you can, if you have the capacity, please go to the front lines. I just want to say that we're standing here really in solidarity for the water protectors that are on the front lines in northern Minnesota that are honestly not that far away. And they are, day after day, they are getting beaten by police. They are getting pepper sprayed for our water, just protecting our water. And so we are here today to stand in solidarity with them. But we can do so much more than just show up to a march. We can do so much more than just show up to a protest. Like I said, call Jamie Dimon. Look into your bank, because it's not just Chase Banks. Look into your bank and see if they're funding a pipeline, if they're funding a fossil fuel project. Wells Fargo, yes. Wells Fargo, Citibank, Bank of America, all of them. Defund all of them. And so if you can, please look into getting into your local credit union. And yeah, fuck Chase, fuck Jamie Dimon, and water is life! Water is life! Oh, okay, to repeat his number is, one second, gotta pull it up real quick. Okay, 212-270-1111. Okay, again, 212-270-1111. Thank you. Gracias, gracias. Water's life. Okay, so with that, I'm actually going to introduce our relatives. This is native land. This is Dakota Ojibwe land. And we have our native relatives here, and they're going to sing a song and open with some prayer. Gracias, Mati.
Again, we're here live in St. Paul, Grand Avenue. Just heard a opening of a ceremony right now. We're in front of a Chase Bank. This is a stop line 3 rally. You see about 150, 200 people have gathered out here. Very hot day here in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're a block away from the governor's residence. People have gathered to say no to line 3 and stop the line 3 construction that's going on in northern Minnesota. Again, we're live in St. Paul in front of Chase Bank. Very hot day here in St. Paul.
I didn't tell you to do this. Okay. Put it on the pole over there. Oh yeah, don't do it.
Don't listen to what we're saying, but put your fingers on the bank.
But don't do it, yeah. Okay. So I have the honor and the privilege of introducing Miss Nina Berglund over here. Nina. protecting water since she could walk. She's an amazing community activist, community activator, and we're very grateful that you're speaking here with us today.
Hi everyone, good day to all of you. It's so good to see you out here. My name is Nina Berglund, like Akitsali introduced me. To the spirits, I'm known as Northern Lights Woman and Appears in the Morning Woman. I'm Northern Cheyenne from Lame Deer, Montana, and Oglala Lakota from Pine Ridge, South Dakota. But I grew up over on East Side St. Paul, so this right here is my home, dating back hundreds and thousands of years to, when I was born. So when it comes to Line 3, I have a lot of feelings, a lot of mixed feelings that I've had for many years, being one of the youth to really step forward after Standing Rock when we came home after, dealing with the Dakota Access Pipeline and what they were doing over there, to come home and realize that they were trying to do that right here, and that they've been doing it right here in the land of so many beautiful lakes, wild rice beds for all the animals, and we realized that they were trying to destroy the very thing that our state is known for, is that our beautiful lakes, our beautiful water, the beautiful Mississippi River. And so when we came home and we realized, we took action. We took the words that we heard from the youth in Standing Rock, the ones who started the movement, the women, the grandmothers, the children, that we needed to come back home and fight, because we knew that this was going to happen here. And this is what we're seeing today. We're seeing that our water protectors being beaten by police, being treated subhuman. And that's something that us Native American people are not, we're very much familiar with that, because it's been happening for so long. And so when we see this war being put forth by the Enbridge Corporation, by these banks, by the United States political system, we are in war. This is political warfare. This is chemical warfare. Our communities are being poisoned. And yet we have the privilege to just sit in our homes while there are people up there, up north, fighting for all of our clean water. So I advise each one of you to do what you can to make sure that the Enbridge Corporation never finishes Line 3. Because I put my moccasins on the ground for my ancestors, for my future generations, and to Chase Bank and Jamie Dimon. I have faced you once before, and I will face you a million times again, that you need to stop funding fossil fuels. You are one of the largest contributors to the fossil fuel industry, and that stops today. I speak for those who are going to come next, and I speak for those that have been doing this work, that we need to protect our water. We need to be doing what we can to save what little time we have left, because the climate catastrophe is upon us. The revolution is now, and it starts with ensuring our future generations have clean water. Woo! So I need each and every one of you to take this so seriously, to tell everyone in the state of Minnesota that Line 3 is something that we need to be doing something about. And I honor, with as much love and courage that I have, to the water protectors that are up there right now, and I hope to see every single one of you on the front lines. Oh, won't be love.
That was Nina Berglund. She's been on the struggle against Line 3 for years. I think one of the youth climate interveners as well.
Give it up for Nina. Yeah. Okay. Raise your hand if you desire to drink cold water right now. Clear, crystal cold water. Raise your hand. Okay, look around. Everybody pretty much rose their hand, which means that we have a duty to continue to fight in order to continue to drink clear water. Water is life!
Water is life!
Agua es vida!
Agua es vida!
All right. I want to introduce our next partner in this entire community building, Minnesota Youth for Climate Justice, Mari.
Can y'all hear me okay? Yes. All right, so I'd like to thank Routine, I would like to thank Atkitsali for bringing me here, and I would like to thank all of the International Indigenous Youth Council for working this all together. Can we hear it for them? junior in high school, and I'm from the Minnesota Youth for Climate Justice. And I want to talk today a little bit about the dangers that Line 3 is bringing to northern Minnesota. And this story starts back in July 25th, 2010, okay? In Marshall, Michigan, on Anishinaabe and Odawa lands. So the oil pipeline 6B carved through the area, transporting diluted bitumen, which is like a form of heavy crude oil, from oil sand pits in Canada, right? Late on that July evening, the pipeline burst and oil gushed out of a 6-foot-long rupture. While alarms sounded at the company's headquarters, the breach wasn't addressed until 18 hours later when a state employee found oil on the land. About 1 million gallons of thick oil sands coated the shorelines and blackened the waters of the Kalamazoo River. This spill contaminated 25 miles of the river, and 35 had to be closed off for cleanup. This cleanup lasted for 5 years and cost $1.2 billion in damages. The culprit corporation, worth $80 billion now, paid about a sixth of the damages. That corporation is called Enbridge. Now let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to Grand Rapids, Minnesota, 1991. A pipeline running through the area that also carried oil sands, that was also part of the same pipeline, crossed over 2 indigenous reservations to reach an oil refinery in Wisconsin. On the afternoon of March 3rd, the pipeline operators noticed that there was a drop in pressure in the pipeline, and then they turned up the pressure, breaking company guidelines by not actually turning off the line like they were supposed to for over an hour. Another 2 hours passed before the actual valve closed, and they could isolate that part of the line that was breached. This major delay made the spill so much worse. 1.7 million gallons of crude oil sands were spilled, causing significant damage to fish ecosystems, vegetation, and marshes along the Prairie River, a tributary to the Mississippi. This is on Anishinaabe treaty land. And this is the worst oil spill in all of inland oil spill in all of U.S. history. This pipeline is called Line 3, and its contractor is called Enbridge, and its funder is called Chase Bank. I'm not done yet. There's more. Oil Pipeline 2 also ran through Grand Rapids. On February 19, 2004, the pipeline ruptured, spilling 42,000 gallons of crude oil in the area and severely impacting groundwater. That company that built Line 2 is called Enbridge, and its funder is called Chase. I'm still not done. Line 3 also ran through Argyle, Minnesota, in the far northwest, and this pipeline spilled 1.3 million gallons of oil in the second worst oil spill in Minnesota history. The company that caused that spill is called Enbridge, and its funder is called Chase. Fuck Chase!
Fuck Chase!
For this, one of them was even in 1973. For nearly 50 years, Enbridge has kept its legacy of spilling its filthy tar sands over pristine wetlands, streams, major rivers, and indigenous treaty land. All pipelines leak, and the Public Utilities Commission knows this, and they don't seem to care. They would rather be silent and let Enbridge abandon yet another ecological catastrophe so that the flow of oil can continue. I would like to show you Will Seufert. Probably most of you won't be able to see this image. This is Will Seufert. Can you see him? So, Will Seufert is the Executive Secretary of the Public Utilities Commission. When asked about Line 3, he refuses to disclose any information that isn't given in an order. This way, he doesn't answer for the environmental time bomb that he okayed for construction. The people destroying this earth have names and addresses. One of them is Chase Bank. We must hold people like Will Seufert accountable for this act of environmental terrorism. We must hold Chase Bank accountable for funding it. And we must demand that Governor Walz pause construction on Line 3 immediately. And we must kill the black snake if we don't want to see yet another oil spill on Minnesotan land.
Stop Line 3!
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 So I'm gonna just say some words. My name is Francisco Sanchez. Community organizer here in the cities. Been going back and forth. Because as we know, there's been a bunch of bullshit going on in the cities too. So as community members here, we feel conflicted, right? We don't want to abandon our home and go up to the front lines, but we really need to. And I actually wrote some words down because I've been, like I said, all over the place. So I'm going to just read this to you. First, I just want to thank each and every one of you for not ignoring this specific call to action. And we tend to romanticize the so-called front lines, thinking about what it's like, how we would act if we were there, how we could be heroes. And I'm here to tell you that we need to be taking a stand right here, where we are right now, in our own communities. We cannot wait until we are given an opportunity to fight. We must start to fight each day when we wake up in the morning. And we must fight with the same ferocity of these evil corporations. As these evil corporations wage war against our planet and our water. These corporations have no soul. If they did, they may reflect on what they are doing to this earth. They may reflect on how they are paying for the brutalization of people who stand up for their own water, and imprison those who stand up for missing and murdered indigenous women. If the corporations had a soul, we may be able to reason with them. Unfortunately, they do not have a soul or a conscience which we may reason with. We must fight them for the monsters that they are. Chase Bank is a monster that feeds on destruction and pain. It feeds off of pipelines, coal plants, mines. It feeds off of the pollution of water and soil. It feeds off of the brutalization. It feeds off of the brutalization of water protectors. It feeds off of the desecration of sovereign land. Chase feeds off of the murder and rape of indigenous women. Are we going to stand for that? No! An entity that feeds on blood and oil will not hear our cries. It will not sympathize with them. It will not change because we ask. We must force change. We must hold the knife to their necks just as they have held the knife to our necks for so long. The fight is not some glorified fight that takes place in the so-called front lines. The fight is here. The fight is now. We must be willing to sacrifice for those who will not have a choice in the future. For those who are born without clean water, we fight for them so that they may live on an earth that is habitable, that can sustain life. Because if we don't fight, that's the future we're headed to. That's the future that Chase Bank, that we're allowing them to take us to. If money is what they're after, we will bleed them dry of it. We will not give them another dime. We will not give another dime to any corporation that profits off of blood. Profits off of destroying the earth, violating our sisters. We will work. We will fight right now. We will organize boycotts. We will organize strikes. We will educate those in our communities who don't have the privilege or the time to do this research themselves. These corporations, they rely on our ignorance. They rely on our own inaction. But we will no longer stammer in the face of these evil giants. We will fight with everything that we have to stop them and to stop Line 3. Stop Line 3!
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 Now we're going to give it back to the dancers. Give them a round of applause.
Yeah, we're here live in St. Paul in front of Chase Bank right now. A few hundred people have gathered for a Stop Line 3 action. It's in the middle of switching over from speakers to dancing, I think, right now. And here was also a drum group right here. Indigenous dancers, Aztec dancers are over here. I think they're going to go in a second. Lakota, Dakota. Drumming circle right here is actually going to go first. See the stickers, keep your dirty money. A lot of these stickers are getting put up with a fist holding some oil over Chase Bank. There's also stickers that say defund pipelines going up all around this area. Hear the shells and the jingles on the different dresses as some of the dancers walk by. that drumming you just heard a minute ago was from Redbone Singers. Again, we're here live in St. Paul off of Summit Avenue right now. We got Kichita on the camera, Nico behind the mic, and Chris doing the back end. Thank you, Chris. The streets are all blocked off, allowing this procession to take place. The police have also blocked off most of the streets, along with bikers riding against police brutality, who you see some of these bikers. This is Justice Frontline Aid. They've been providing a lot of support to a lot of the protests. And then bikers riding against police brutality have also been protecting the protests from car attacks, as that's something that's happened in the past. You know, about 1 block away from the governor's residence, and I think that that's where everybody is going to be headed back. Chase Bank, a major purveyor of fossil fuel extraction projects, and Line 3 had an action come to it. And that's where you see these few hundred people have gathered out here in front of Chase Bank to tell Jamie Dimon, who runs Chase Bank, to stop funding fossil fuel extraction projects and to also implore them to defund from these fossil fuel extraction projects. As we saw with DAPL, when the struggle against Dakota Access Pipeline was really reaching its wintertime, a lot of people pushed the defund card because they realized that possibly stopping it on the front lines wasn't all enough. You possibly needed to come at it from other angles. So people went at it from the political aspect and then from the monetary aspect. The same situation you have here. Obviously, that's been a consistent theme for pipeline struggles for years, but the same situation you have here with Line 3 in this local area here in Minnesota instead of just North Dakota. It had already got completed in North Dakota. This replacement Line 3 pipeline is, as we heard from other speakers earlier, running diluted bitumen, tar sands oil from Alberta, Canada, which is very dirty oil. It uses a lot of clean water to clean this at a time when Minnesota is experiencing a very big drought. A lot of its rivers are really low and its lakes are really low. And also Enbridge has been taking more water out of the supply to clean and to also run their directional drilling. 9 spills have happened from directional drilling. Those are mud spills. Those aren't specifically tar sands oil spills. But what they're doing in the fracturing of the earth is that they're actually messing up. And they've had at least 9 accidents that we know about. Most likely more. One was pretty damaging to the Mississippi headwaters. So that's the headwaters of the Mississippi. So So again, we're talking about line 3. As you see the signs, land back, stop line 3, and defend the sacred. Land back has been a new, sort of a renewed push in these last few years, talking about the stolen land that we are now on, and talking about sort of giving some of that land back to the original inhabitants of this land. You see some chalk has gone up on the bank, stop line 3, and fuck Chase Bank, it says. Again, so there's actions all throughout this week and next week. There's water walkers that have started their water walk from way up north, I think at the Mississippi headwaters, and they've been walking all the way into Minneapolis area or St. Paul area. They will be arriving in St. Paul August 25th. We see that sign, drink ayahuasca. You see water is life. Let's go see if he wants something.
Trying to raise awareness. Drink ayahuasca. It changed my life for the better.
And then, so you chose the stop line 3 action to bring this awareness, but you also still have keep your dirty money. Some of the stickers.
It's all connected. It's all connected. It's a consciousness revolution. We just need to change. We're just trying to change the way we think about our relationship to everything. You know, the earth specifically.
Within drinking ayahuasca, how would that help change somebody's consciousness?
Well, it showed me things and made me aware of things that I had never been privy to before.
And then, so within that awareness, was that something that also helped you become more aware of some of these extraction projects and like?
Okay, right. This is it's like an awakening. You know, you realize what your real values and principles are. You know, and you have to act accordingly with those, or I don't know. You're just like a phony.
You want to say anything about line 3 and how close it's being to be completed? What would you want to say to that?
We need to stop it. We need to stop this. We need to treat the earth better, you know? And oil, extracting, fracking, this is like earth rape. This is earth rape. Mother Earth, okay? You don't treat it like that.
Anything else you want to say?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so that's just one person's opinion about the ayahuasca and connecting the ayahuasca to the environmental struggles. You see a lot of youth here right up on these front lines. So you hear the chant right now is you can't drink oil, keep it in the soil.
Stop line 3! 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 Stop line 3!
So recently up in the northern districts of Minnesota, people have been continuing their struggle against the pipeline. There's different resistance camps. Those different resistance camps have done different actions at different spots and different choke points for some of this construction. And recently, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was very violent episodes of police violence towards the water protectors who were at, I think, Red Lake River, Red Lake. At the Red Lake Treaty Camp, a lot of the resistance had come out to try to stop the directional drilling that goes underneath the lake or the river, and from there it just continued to push into police repression when the people would try to stand up. and some of that police repression turned into very violent repression. I think we have some of the video of that on our website, or check it out on our social feeds. But I think you could also find it at GINU Collective. This is on Twitter and Facebook, GINU Collective, GINIU. This is the residence for the governor of Minnesota. So this is the governor's mansion or the governor's residence. As you see, a few hundred people walking, marching to it, chanting, stand up, fight back. There's a lot of signs that are now on the side of the fence. So some of WHAM's, Women Against Military Madness, Vigil is starting to happen up here as well. So some of those folks are here. You see this big banner, Stop Line 3. You see also on life is in the water, death in fossil fuels. So we also have say no to line 3, and then there's a phone number to call the governor. 651-201-3400 is they're asking. Then we have a large banner also that says no war on Mother Earth. The U.S. military is the #1 polluter. And I believe that this is from WHAM, Women Against Military Madness. You see there's probably about 12 to 20 sort of elder ladies and gentlemen, and I think they're part of this Women Against Military Madness. We talked to them a little bit earlier today, before or during the march. They're talking about it right now on the speakers. They're just saying every Monday, 5 to 6, there's a vigil.
Indigenous Root, International Indigenous Youth Council, COPAD, Minnesota Youth Partners, Justice, and many, many more. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Youth, once again for coming out here, and we'll hand it over to WHAM.
So that's the ending of this action. We're going to grab an interview or two. I know. I just shadow. All of a sudden you turned around too, right when I was coming up. Okay, when you ready right now? Yeah. Sweet. Okay. So we did hear you speak. So I think like that gist of things is something you don't have to repeat. But where are we at right now in the struggle against Line 3? Right now, it seems like a lot of it's being built. A lot of the river crossings have almost been finished. Do you know where we stand right now as far as construction-wise, and then where we stand resistance-wise?
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, I went up to the front lines about a week and a half ago, and from what it looks like right there, obviously our water protectors are still being harassed for standing up against the water. And as construction goes, they're still putting it in. The only resistance that we can see happening, obviously there's not much happening on a local and government level. What we see is the more resistance on the groundwork. So that's as far as I'm concerned in regards. Obviously the movement is still very much alive as it has been for years. because this is something that has been going on, for years and years and years. And so we're looking at, basically a decade of fighting, pipelines here in Minnesota, not like, Line 3, since it was first proposed. We're going on, 10 plus years of doing this. And so the resistance is growing. We see a lot of people standing up against Line 3. There's many events around the country and around the world standing up against specifically Line 3. And so I would just really encourage you all to, keep this momentum going. Being as one of the youth that really helped, contribute to this movement back when, we weren't even hearing about Line 3, to see what it's grown into now and to see the amount of youth stepping forward into their power and standing up for, our future generations against Line 3 it's amazing. So.
Thank you for that. And then some of these actions, they are happening a lot, and they're frequent, and even this next week into next week after that. So we have the water walkers that are coming from up north and coming down to St. Paul, I believe, right? Nick, can you talk about any of these other actions and what maybe people can look forward to? I know that there are people on the front lines, but then there's also the political people in the politics who have possibly the ability to stop the pipeline. Is there any actions on their end? And then, can you talk about some of these actions coming up in this next week or two?
So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I've been kind of in and out of the movement. Like I said, I've been a part of this for years, so I've been trying to focus on other work besides Line 3. But obviously, I'm still showing up and standing out. So I would really just keep a lookout for here in the Twin Cities for actions put on by Minnesota teen activists and groups like these, the International Indigenous Youth Council of the Twin Cities, and multiple organizations around the state. So I'd really just keep a lookout. Follow as much information as you can in regards to what the updates are. I'm just sorry, I'm not the one to give them.
That's cool. Thank you. You don't have to do everybody else's education for them. Maybe what is the most pertinent part of this case, right? You talked about people's way of life. We talk about wild rice. We talk about water. Can you talk about maybe what's the most pertinent danger that could happen with Line 3?
Yeah, so Line 3 is literally Enbridge's and the fossil fuel industry's last hope. So we see so many of these funders, so many political movements, all putting pressure for Line 3 to be built. So we see and we look around, they're scrambling because this is their last hope to keep the oil industry alive, to keep this destructive infrastructure alive, because so much of America is based off of oil and money. And as we see a transition out of that, they're scrambling because they want their way of life held onto. So I really think that the biggest struggle out of all of this, out of all the actions, all the campaigns, all the protests, ultimately comes down to our right as people, as human beings, to have clean water. It is crazy to me. And it's so frustrating and so disheartening to know that there are people around the world without clean drinking water, and we have 30% of the world's largest clean drinking sources, and they want to pollute it. It is just crazy to me. So I really think this is a fight for life. This is a fight for our future, because ultimately, the rate that we're going now with the climate crisis, Line 3 is just one more peg into the stake to know that there's no coming back from this. So there's just so much pressure on all of us as people, as individuals, as community members, as sovereign nations, to stand up against Line 3, because this is a battle for our future. This is a battle for life. This is a battle for water. And it all boils down to we're all just human beings, and we can't go very long without water, so why pollute it? Well,
thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd want to say?
Catch me in Glasgow, Scotland, at the United Nations Climate Conference.
What?
Yeah, in November.
All right. Dope.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. That was Nina Berglund. Thank you, Akichicha, on the camera. This is Nico. Right behind us, we'll show you this, and we'll take the stream down. This is the governor's residence, and this is where Governor Walz lives with his family during the time that he's the governor, and this is where people have come. There's also a ongoing action right now as a Stop Line 3 Vigil by Women Against Military Madness, as well as you can see some of the folks from Veterans for Peace out here that are holding their signs, and you see even the sign, "How is the war economy working for you?" So we heard the interconnection between the war industry and the fossil fuel industry earlier, in that it pollutes the earth We heard a lot of different reasons why people are fighting against Line 3, and we saw a lot of different folks that are fighting against it. So again, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to know more information from Line 3, we have a lot of information on our website. Go to unicornriot.ninja. Also, you can go to a Line 3 landing page that has a lot of the coverage on there. Just click on that, and then you can find all of our coverage. So again, thank you all for tuning in. We are going to take the stream down. If you like our coverage and you like independent media, consider, and if you are financially privileged, consider donating to us at unicornriot.ninja/donate. Otherwise, check out our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, Vimeo, Twitch, and YouTube. Again, thank you all for tuning in. This is Nico, Akichita, and Chris on the back end. Peace.
Rest